Hi, everybody.
Hello. We are going live here today. We're really, really excited. We have a special guest. Her name is Scotque Massett. Hope I'm pronouncing
Ma-
it right.
Massett, yes.
And we love Scotque. She has been with us for our
day
community
one.
for a long time, and she's supported us. And we just want to give a huge shout out because she has quite the journey to kind of talk about here. We've been wanting to learn more about her story, and so not only bariatric surgery, but also plastic surgery as well. And we just appreciate you taking the time out to talk with all of us. It looks like we have quite a few people joining us right now on our Crowdcast forum. Brittany, I don't know if you're on. I'm going to actually see if I can get on to our Facebook. Unless you're there already.
I had it pulled up on my phone, but that was when we were trying to figure out the audio stuff.
We were having a little bit. Thanks, guys, for sticking with us. We were, we're live on there too as well. So I'm going to turn my volume down to make sure. So basically, for those of you who don't know us, I'm going to introduce Brittany, and I'm going to introduce myself, and I'm going to let Brittany introduce herself, and then we're going to have Scotque do her own little introduction and kind of get into this story. So for those of you who are joining for the very first time, my name is Brenda. I'm a consultant. I'm a nurse with ProCare Health, and me and Brittany's been with the company now. It's going on almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in June for me will be 2 years. We're past that time frame now. I think right in here. And basically, what we do is we do these live events. Thanks to our sponsor, ProCare Health. We want to thank them so much. So ProCare Health, for those of you who don't know, is a bariatric multivitamin company and supplement company that, the biggest reason that I was drawn to them is their affordability and the ease in taking the products. They have one-a-day products so that you don't have to take so many different things. And also their taste, trust and transparency. Every single time you take ProCare, every batch is third-party tested, so you know what you know what you're getting. And I also just want to give a quick shout out to all those who's saying hello. It looks like Brooke, Heidi, Jessica, Enid,
a lot of people,
Michelle, yes, and Lintheric, and it looks like just lots. And Enid's commenting a lot. So thank you, Enid. We love all the love.
Yes, we missed you.
I got to talk to her yesterday, and Enid, I have some things too to follow up with you because I brought all your ideas. That she actually called me and gave me all kinds of information. So Brittany, I'll let you introduce yourself, and then we're going to turn over to Scotque.
Hi guys, I'm Brittany. I'm with ProCare. I've been with ProCare. It'll be 2 years officially, I think, in August. So my role has kind of changed a little bit since I've been with them. I have done these lives with Brenda since the very beginning, though. This will probably always be a staple. As long as I have anything to say about it, I will always be on the live events. But now my role has transitioned a little bit more into being an account rep, and I love that job because I get to talk to dietitians, patients, and I just get to spread the good word about ProCare. So if you guys have any questions during this time about anything, grats. Thanks. If you have any questions about anything about ProCare, our products, anything like that, feel free to ask. That's what I'm kind of on the call today, and just help Brenda make sure that she's getting all the answers and the questions, because sometimes it's hard to look at both stuff. So, but yeah, I'm really happy to be here, and let's get started, because Scotque has been with us since the beginning too. So
yeah. Scotque, she was giving you lots of accolades there. Just in the replay, you can hear all that. Scotty's able to hear me, but for whatever reason, she can't hear everything that Brittany's saying. So we are going to turn the mic over to you, and I want you to tell us a little bit about your journey. Starting out, why you had surgery, when you had surgery, what kind of surgery. We're talking bariatric, and then we can lead into the plastic surgery. And I also want to just say, here at the bottom of our Crowdcast screen, Crowdcast is an Ask a Question feature, and we already have people asking questions. People
Which
want
is
to know
awesome.
a lot. Yes. So whoever's on our Crowdcast forum, please feel free to list your questions, more of them there. And if you're on Facebook, you're welcome to put them in the chat. So go for it, Scotty. We'll let you start talking.
Thank you, Brenda and Brittany, for having me on. I am super excited to be here to share my story with everybody. I will, let me see if I can share my screen, because I do have a small little slideshow to start with.
Yes, we love it.
And if you need help with getting that set up, let me know. We didn't do a practice right before we started, so there should be like a little cue at the very top of your screen that will allow you to share.
Okay, can you see it?
Nope.
Not quite yet.
Did she click the share screen icon at the top of the screen?
My glasses back on so I can actually see the screen.
Yeah. Did you see the share option at the top of your screen? A little toggle
There we
button.
go. Now it says it's starting to share.
Perfect.
You see that?
Not yet.
Sometimes you have to click the window too.
Okay. I doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to share right now, so I'm okay with that.
And if you'd like to send it via email to Scotty, I can pull it up for you. It's up to you.
Okay.
I don't want to
Okay.
distract you either.
Yeah, I don't want to be distracted. So I'll just kind of go over a little bit about me. I grew up in Oklahoma. I spent a majority of my time outside playing with kids, doing the normal kid stuff when I was growing up. So I didn't really have a weight problem because I was so active all the time. As I got older, that's when I started having more issues. And so I had 3 kids back to back to back, and
It's
looks like I'm
sharing
gonna
now.
share.
It is. And we have a
Okay,
yep.
perfect. All right. See, a little bit of playing around, and we can do this. So this was me early June 2019 before surgery. I was 316 pounds to start with for my heaviest weight. My starting weight at surgery was 306. My lowest weight I got to was 170, and I'm currently at 195. So I did gain some back, but I hear that's normal. So following my sleeve surgery, I went through a whole bunch of changes, as most people do. Brenda asked me why I had surgery. So I have 4 kids, and then I have a goddaughter who is now 3 years old, and I wanted to be able to be out with them and play with them and do things that I hadn't been able to do, and because of the weight. And so as I started losing weight, first thing I did was buy myself a kayak. And so I spent a lot of time in the summer kayaking. A girlfriend of mine from work got me started doing 5Ks. So there's a picture of me with one of my dogs doing 5Ks. And so I've been way more active since the surgery, since the gastric sleeve surgery. I chose the sleeve surgery because I was so fearful of dumping syndrome. And I know there's a lot of people that have that, that have that same fear. So I thought, you know what? I can still do what I want to do by choosing the sleeve. I actually lost as much, if not more, if I had chose the sleeve over, or since I chose the sleeve, I felt like I lost as much as I would have if I had chose the bypass.
Yeah.
So then there's my lowest weight, and yes, I take pictures in the bathroom, so don't judge me. Um, so there I am pre-plastics. Um, but I felt like my chest, my girls, were old man tube socks. I had, if you can see in the picture there, my arm, I had major droopy skin in my arms. And then I had you can't really see in this picture, but I had a pouch that I thought, and then it went down further into my lady parts. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to be like this forever.
Mm-hmm.
I hit 50 years old this year. And so that's what my driving force for plastics was I hit 50.
Hey, real quickly too, there's a couple questions right now that I think are kind of pertinent to what you're talking about, like where you're at with this. So Enid asked, she said, "Are you still living in Oklahoma?" She said, "I just moved here a month ago," so she wanted to share that with you. And
Thanks,
I'll let you
Enid.
answer that first before we go on to the next question.
No, I currently live in Washington. I'm in Tacoma, Washington. I've been here since 2003. I do go home to Oklahoma very often. So I would, if I go visit, I'd love to reach out and see if we could meet up.
Yes. And
She said
somebody
yes.
asked the
Yeah.
kind of yes, she said yes. What kind of syndrome? I think you were talking about dumping, and I think somebody clicked a link or somebody placed a link about what dumping syndrome is. But do you want to
Right.
say anything about that?
I am a sweets person. I love my sweets. And so for me, if there's certain things that if you eat too much of, it can throw you into what they call dumping syndrome. And so, um, and you can look at the link to kind of go into it a little bit more. Um, but I was so fearful of the cramping and the issues that come along with the dumping syndrome, that I just chose to go the sleeve route. Cass, I see you are asking how tall I am. I am 5'6". So yes, I'm supposed to be 150 pounds. If I get there, I get there. If I don't, I'm okay with that too, because I feel like I'm healthy and I have the energy to run around and keep up with my dogs, keep up with my grandsons or my grandchildren. I have a granddaughter who's 10. And then I have a grandson who is 9 months old, and he lives with me currently. Oh, Michelle, I did not know temperature could also trigger dumping syndrome. So that is something to keep in mind, I guess, if you haven't had your surgery yet.
Yeah.
I
Eating
have
too
a
quickly
3-year-old
and eating and drinking
goddaughter,
can also
and
cause
I have a
that too.
goddaughter that's due in October. So for me, it was all about keeping up with the kids, making sure that I could run around, I could play on the playground with them, I could, you know, give them the best life that I could give them as a family member in their lives. So that's the questions I see in the chat right now. I do see that we do have some other questions in the question and answer section. Okay, we answered Cass's. And when we get to the plastic surgery, I'll answer the rest of those.
Okay.
Okay. So I decided I was coming up on my 50th birthday. So I decided I wanted to have skin removal surgery for me. I went through some major counseling to feel like I was enough for myself, that I was worth having the skin removal surgery, for not only the emotional and mental part of it, but also for the financial part of it. I know one of the questions was, does insurance cover? My insurance does not cover. So it was all coming out of our pockets. And so we had to figure out how we were going to pay for it. And so it was a big, huge life decision for me and my husband, because he was very, very supportive and helps me along the way. From the very beginning to even today, he'll help me out, and if I'm going down a wrong path, he'll say something to me, or if I feel like I'm stressed out too much, I'll talk to him, and we kind of work things out, so that I don't go back to that food as an addiction kind of mindset. So we started here. When I hit my lowest weight, I started looking at plastic surgeons. I interviewed, and I call them interviews because since it is such a huge decision, and I was paying for it, or my husband and I were paying for it, I wanted the best person for me. And so I interviewed 4 plastic surgeons, and I ended up going with Dr. Parikh. It wasn't just him that I liked, it was his entire office. Everybody made me feel like I was special. When I walked in the door, it was an immediate comfort for me to be in there. The other 3 offices had some sort of a comfort level, but not quite as much as Dr. Parikh's office. I honestly felt like I was part of the family. So this is, and I tried to cut out the parts that mattered. This was my pre and post plastic first surgery. I chose to go upper first because my arms had been the bane of my existence for so long. Mm-hmm. My arms, as you can see, they stopped probably 3 inches before my elbow. And so it was just too much for me. And so when I interviewed him, he said we could do the upper body as one surgery, a midsection as another surgery, and the thighs as a final surgery. Mm-hmm. I know that was one of the questions about how many procedures can you get done at once. With my surgeon, it's more about being under the anesthesia than it was about the actual surgeries themselves, trying to figure out. And so he would do, it was like we did them in sections. And so you can see there's my pouch, there's my big old thighs, and then my big old arms. You can see afterwards my arms much, much smaller. I still have some arm area that needs to be, um, that still hangs, but I'm just now getting back into the gym after my 3 surgeries. Um, and once I start building muscle, that I think will tighten up and look the way I want it to.
Definitely will. Yeah.
Um, Here is after the body lift. I went to Kentucky to visit my daughter and granddaughter. We went to Dollywood. First time in my life I actually, well, I wouldn't say in my life, but first time in a really, really long time, actually wore a sleeveless shirt walking around Dollywood, and it felt so good. Um, I wore a binder and around my midsection, and so this is with the binder that I had to wear to help with healing and all that. Um, but I went to Dollywood. I rode rides with my granddaughter. I rode this ride that went way up in the air and way back, and we did this thing. I would have never fit on that ride pre-surgery, pre-bariatric surgery. And I wouldn't even have attempted to do it. I felt so amazing. That was huge accomplishment for me. Um,
Hey, Scotty, there is a
yes.
question that I think kind of fits into what you're talking about now too.
Mhm.
Well, a couple people said they're with you on the arms. There's two of
Yeah.
them, Michelle and Lou. And then also Michelle says, how painful was the arm surgery? I'd love to do that, but worry about the pain and recovery.
So for me, I have a high pain tolerance. And so I have rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia. So I have a higher pain tolerance than most people do. With my arms, like I said, he did my entire upper body for as one surgery, and with he gave me a muscle relaxer and some pain pills. I took the pain pills for literally 2 days, and that was it. Um, I did take the muscle relaxer a little while longer because he did put an implant in the top and he put it under the muscle, so it was a little more sore. Where previously I couldn't do that, or I previously I would just like droop. And so he put an implant in there just so that when he did the lift, it didn't concave in. So I didn't go any bigger. I just rounded out, if you will. Um, sorry if there's any guys on here, but
Oh,
it's
it's
just the way
fine.
it is.
It's fine.
Um, and so I see Lou Hill. I agree with you. My arms, it was so frustrating that I could wear a medium top, but my arms were still in that extra large size. I feel you. So that was definitely one of the things that was my driving force in getting my upper body done first, is I wanted to be able to wear those medium tops and feel good about wearing those medium tops.
Hmm.
I wouldn't even wear a t-shirt like what Brenda's got on right now, pre arms. Um, I just was so embarrassed, and I always felt like everybody was looking at me. And going through counseling, I have realized that nobody's really looking at me. Nobody else cares about me but me. And and so if you're having those issues and you're thinking that everybody's always looking at you, remind yourself it's not about what everybody else thinks. It's about how you feel. It's about how it's the internal part of it. So if you're having those thoughts about, oh, I don't know if I want to do this because I'm not worth it, you are worth it. Trust me, you are very much worth it. I have gone through so much to get to this point. Um, let's see. Yes, yes, Michelle. I flew and I was able to sit in the seat and I took a picture of myself holding the belt out and I had room on each side and so it was absolutely amazing. Um, oh, Lentrika, I hope that's saying that right. You're having your sleeve on Monday. That is so exciting for
It is so
you. Really
exciting.
hear how it pans out for you. Stay encouraged. Stay in those support groups. I love the ProCare Now sponsored support groups and their weekly um, sessions that we do. They are so informative and they are so supportive. And I have met people just via chat the over the last few years that I've been joining them, and I feel like I know these people um, more than I know some of my actual own coworkers. So.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Uh,
I'm going to actually, too, since you said that, I'm going to post for those of you who may be new to our support channel. Like Scotty said, we offer weekly live events like we're doing right now, and then we offer monthly support groups. Our next support group is this Thursday night. I'm going to post a link. If you follow us, you get notifications as each new thing is listed. I'm sorry, before each event goes live. But you do have to register for each thing. Once you're registered for our support groups, they're offered usually the third Thursday of the month, but sometimes they differ. Always on replay. We have over 80 different events on replay. So thanks, Scotty. And also, I do want to mention, because you're from Tacoma, Washington, somebody mentioned here, it looks like, let me start answering that question, Berry Nation. So April
Yes.
is from Tacoma, Washington. Have you met her?
Yes.
And we're also going to talk a little bit, too. We want to mention Berry Nation because ProCare is going to be strongly collaborating with them in the future. Have you heard of them, Scotty?
oh yes, I have. I haven't met her, but and I know that they did a an event over here at the convention center, but I wasn't able to make it that weekend. But I love Berry Nation too. They're great group to follow and get information from. So,
I'll paste their
And
link, too.
I was going to say, anybody who's not familiar with Berry Nation, I would really strongly encourage
and
you.
then somebody asked about fat transfer. That was not an option for me. I really don't have any thoughts on that because I don't know. My doctor did do some um, liposuction with my surgeries, but he, but I really don't know about the fat transfer side of it because that was not something that we discussed, and it may not be something that he does. So I'm not sure um, where that is. So, one of the things that I wanted to mention is I did my surgeries, my plastics, pretty well back to back to back. My first one was January 19th, my second one was March 1st, and my third one was April 19th. And the reason I did that is because I turned 50 on May 16th. I wanted to look good for my 50th birthday. If I were to, they say hindsight's 50, or hindsight 2020. If I were to go back and do it, I would put a minimum of 3 months between surgeries, especially for people who have those additional underlying conditions like that you're taking medication that may lower your immune system. My RA medication does that. And so it did kind of hinder a little bit of my healing process. So that is one thing. Thank you, Enid. So that is one thing that I would have done differently is spaced them out a little further. But I had a goal in my mind, and so I was trying to hit a certain goal. Um, so if there is something, that I would do differently, that would be it. Otherwise, I would not have changed a thing at all. I still have not been released to do my 5Ks or do any sort of cardio. Hopefully on July 6th, when I go back to see the surgeon, he'll release me to be able to do those cardio. But he did release me to start working on that upper body. So I did get back into the gym and I've been working on my arms and building my muscle, my core. And so um, that has been actually really, really good for me. I'm sore. I never thought I'd say I'm sore from being back in the gym, but I am. Um, so yes, Enid, I do. I feel like I get better with age. I am able to, I have a dog that dock dives, if anybody knows what dock diving is. And dock diving, Brittany's shaking her head. So dock diving is you see them on TV and they're on this dock and there's a pool, a 60-foot pool at the end of the dock, and the handler stands on one side, releases the dog to start running, and then throws a toy into the pool, and the dog dives in, and they're judged on their distance. And then there's a couple other things that they can do as well. And so before my arm surgery, we did a couple of events. And when I threw that bumper, it would hit and it would just cause issues. And I wouldn't always get the bumper to where it needed to be. And so now, post arm surgery, I'm able to throw that bumper further, and he's able to jump further. So it's exciting. It's
That
a
is
very
exciting.
active boys, and dog dog boys, not kid boys. My kids are
Yeah,
all
I
in
know
their
what you mean.
20s, and even one hit her 30s this year, so, or no, last year, I guess. And so my kids are all older, and uh, so I focus on the grandkids, the goddaughters, and then the puppies. So that's kind of exciting. And those are things I would have never been able to do before surgery.
Let me ask you this. What are some things that you would say, like if somebody's considering having this done, what would you say, any advice that you would give anyone, whether it be bariatric surgery, whether it be plastic surgery, maybe both?
Um, let's start with bariatric surgery. I would say go in with the mindset that you are going to succeed. I have talked to so many people who they were scared, but it was a constant battle of what if I gain my weight back? What if I gain my weight back? Go in with the mindset that you're not going to gain that weight back. And if you do, it's okay. You just start the day over again. If you have a bad day, you start the next day with the day over. Like I said, I'm a sweets girl, so I love to eat sweets all the time. And so if I decide now that I'm going to have a cookie instead of having a package of cookies, I have one cookie. If I mess up and I have a package of cookies, then I start the next day over again and say, I'm just going to do better. Um, and so just going in with that mindset that I'm just going to do better every single time is would be my big thing with the bariatric side of the surgery. For plastic surgery, I would say if your insurance doesn't cover it, start saving, putting back money, um, day one of bariatric surgery or even pre-bariatric surgery, start putting money back because it is expensive. Um, I know there's people that go to Mexico where it's a lot cheaper, but I just couldn't do that to myself. I was very fearful of it, and I know that people research it and they feel good about it, but I heard too many horror stories, and so I chose to stay locally with somebody in my area. So I definitely would say if you have to pay for it, start saving early. That way you have uh, it's not a big surprise when you get to the doctor's office and they tell you how much it's going to be. I know one of the questions from the Ask a Question was um, how much was my plastic surgeries? Total for my plastic surgeries, all three, was $47,000. And mind you, I'm in Tacoma, Washington. My surgery was in Bellevue, Washington, which is a little bit higher cost of living because it's further north than where we live. Um, but he was definitely worth it. My surgeon gave me his cell phone number. I could call him anytime I had any questions. It didn't matter day or night. If I had any issues, I called him on a Sunday afternoon because one of my drains came out. And he's like, oh, okay. And he answered. He answered immediately. And so for me, he called my husband the night of surgery to check on me and see how I was doing on each surgery. Called and would check on me. His office is constantly, I'm in touch with his nurse, and his front desk staff all the time, and they're great about asking him questions if because I don't always call him, I call them too, and so um, and so they're great about answering questions for me and helping out. I had one of my incisions kind of split open and I called and they said, yeah, come back in. And they fixed it. But it was just start saving and find somebody that you feel comfortable with. That's the big thing. Like I said, I interviewed with 4 plastic surgeons' offices and 4 plastic surgeons, and I went with one that was probably a little more expensive because the way he made me feel, the way his office made me feel. So,
Well, and I think you have such a good point there. I think with bariatric surgery and with plastic surgery, one of the most important things that people should consider, in my opinion, I mean, for me, and it sounds like it was really important for you, is to trust whoever you're having surgery with and to feel comfortable. Because it is such a life-changing decision, and you want to make sure that they're professional, that you know that they have your back. You don't want to just go in, and because there are places that are just kind of a drive-through. You have your
mhm,
surgery and then kind of done. So I agree with you 100% on that. To me, that's so important.
yeah. Um, my child, I see her.
Oh, who's
Post
your
a
child? Is
question.
that Love You Momo?
Yes, my grandbabies call me Momo.
Aw,
Um, so
that's so sweet.
she's I have had major support from my entire family. They all have been there behind me and supported me the entire journey for the last 3 years. I did hit my 3 year mark just a couple of days ago from the date of surgery, and but I hit my 3 year mark back in December when I had originally made the decision that this was the journey I was going to follow for me. Um, so people want to say, was it worth it? It's totally worth it. It is totally worth it. Even if you do gain back a little bit, um, there I am, 50 and fabulous, and I feel it.
50 and
That
fabulous.
was the day of
Awesome.
my 50th birthday party, which was actually 2 days before my birthday. And yeah, you can see the dog is there too. And so contact information, feel free to email me anytime, any questions. I'm happy to help out, support you. If you don't have that support at home and you need somebody to support you, email me. We will start talking, and then I will give you my phone number, and I'm happy to support you because it is just an amazing journey and you need
Hmm.
that support at home.
Yeah.
Um, and then I included my surgeon's information just because he's so amazing. And if anybody's up in this Pacific Northwest area, I would highly recommend him. But there's my guy from a couple of weeks ago. He jumped 25 feet 5 inches,
Wow.
and he continues to move forward. So it's kind of exciting.
That's like
He's
5 of me if I laid down.
it sounds like he's staying active with you.
Yeah.
He is. He is keeping me young. I actually feel much younger than 50. Um, and that is a huge, huge thing is that the more you stay on this journey and the better you are, then it is, and the better support you have. Um, it just is makes me more successful because it makes me want to do more for myself to take care of the people around me. Uh, I see, Cheryl, that you want to get your skin taken off from your belly because you get raw and sore. Um, some some insurances, if you have it documented, will do I think it's called a panelectomy, and basically all it is just taking off the skin right there on your stomach. It doesn't include tightening any muscles. I had a full body lift, so he tightened the muscles that had been separated after having kids. He uh and then he removed quite a bit of skin, but then he like pulled up in the back and pulled down in the back so that it wasn't so loose around everywhere. Um, so yeah, like Michelle said, talk to your doctor early and often if you're having issues with raw and um, any kind of skin issues because it's got to be fully documented if you're going to try to do it with insurance at all.
And I kind of want to bring up because I know I used to work for a bariatric surgery program, and we had a plastic surgeon come in every year and talk to our patient population in support group. Usually, I mean, I probably had him 4 or 5 times. And one of the big things that he mentioned was a lot, and I don't know if this is nationwide, this was in Missouri, but most of the time, insurances, if they're going to cover any surgery, it's going to be the panulectomy, which is the tummy tuck. It's a simple, incision across the lower part of the abdomen where they bring the skin down and they make it taut. Now, the other procedures that we're talking about, the breast augmentation, the arms, the thigh lift, all the butt lifts, or if you have a fleur de lis, which is where you have your abdomen cut in the center and around the bottom and the lower half of your back, like to bring that skin tight, those may not be covered. Now, I don't know, is that what your doctor told you, or did but you also have to have medical criteria for the panulectomy or the tummy tuck.
Mhm.
Is that what you would say is consistent with what you learned whenever you were having
It's
conversations?
exactly consistent with
Yeah.
what I learned from all four surgeries, and the one thing they kept telling me, and is, yes, we could do the panelectomy, but it doesn't tighten the muscles in your stomach at all. That's another step. But what they would do is, if I chose the panelectomy, then and I wanted the full tummy tuck where they tighten the muscles and all that, um, I could pay the difference. So that may be an option for some people who don't have $47,000 to do all of the surgeries. If you just have enough, if the insurance is just going to cover the panelectomy, talk to them and see what on top of that, what it would be to fix the muscles in your stomach. Because I know that has been a huge thing for me as well, because I'm able to move better now that there's tightness in my stomach versus not having the tightness beforehand. So if you can afford that, try that. Talk to them about that.
Yeah, and when you were talking, I think Michelle and you both talk to your doctor early and often. Here we're talking not necessarily to the plastic surgeon. We're talking about to your bariatric surgeon or your primary care. Because when we're talking about documentation, in order to get coverage of that panelectomy or that tummy tuck, it has to do with rashes, yeast infections. It has to do with pain or discomfort. Those type of things need to be documented by someone other than just the plastic surgeon, I would assume, because it's that is what will help you get coverage. Now, did they give you any indication of how many conversations there need to be to have coverage of that?
No, because I think every insurance is different when it comes to that side of it. And if you go to Walgreens or Bartell's or one of the stores like that, and you buy yeast medication over the counter, document it. Keep your receipts. Show that to, talk to the doctor about that as well, because that just continues on with that whole talking with your primary care about, because once they document it, even if it's over the counter stuff, it still counts as documentation.
And I'm just kind of sticking up for the doctors here or the nurses. You also need to make sure you tell them to document it. That should be obvious. I'm just saying that should be obvious, but we're all human, and they may not understand what your need is. All you have to do is say, I'm wanting to move towards having plastic surgery. It's important for me to have documentation. Could you please make sure that is in your documentation from today's visit?
Yeah. Yes.
It looks like there's some more comments. Body wash with the tea tree oil and tea tree oil on these spots. That's what my insurance told me. They just want a diagnosis code. Yes, very wise, ladies. Thank you. Let me see if there's any other questions.
We got about 10 minutes left, Brenda.
It looks like Hunter is saying hi through Facebook to you, Scotty.
Hi.
Hunter Schaus. I'm sure you know Hunter.
That's my child. That's one of my boys.
So you know what? We're gonna kind of round things out a little bit. We wanna. So Scotty gave us her contact information. It's in the video here. And if you guys want to reach out to her, please do. I'm sure she's been so wonderfully supportive with our community. I know she'd be a helpful resource, especially little questions. And also, Brittany and I just want to so we're kind of closing to, in that we also want to just do like a little special promo too with ProCare, because they are a sponsor. We want to say we've kind of started doing these problem solutions, and so I'm going to pull it up, Brittany. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit here.
Yeah, I'll talk.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is pull up, first of all, I'm going to pull up pulled up the solution first. Let me do. I know, and actually, you guys, I'm not sharing my screen, so hold on one second here. I am going to click on to share my screen here. Sorry, guys. And we're going to pop up with this. So I'll let Brittany kind of talk here for a second.
Okay, so we have today's solution is I'm wanting to add probiotics into my bariatric routine, but don't want it to get too expensive. So you are actually in luck. Let me grab my handy dandy. Okay. So we have a couple of solutions actually for you guys. The first being that all of our calcium chews are not only made with all natural ingredients, and they're the only all natural calcium chew on the market, but they also include probiotics. So each calcium chew has 500 milligrams of calcium, 500 IU vitamin D3, and 500 million CFUs of probiotics. And that's just in one chew. You're getting all that good stuff. So this is our new mocktail flavor, actually.
Let me stop sharing, Brittany, so they can see you full screen.
And you guys, these are so good. I don't really want to open this bag because I like having like a pretty one, but I kind of do want to show them. I mean, should I open it? Should I not open it?
Yeah. I like the smell of them too whenever you first open them up.
Yes. Okay, so these are so good, you guys. Here, let me get each flavor. We have a lemon drop. We have a gin and tonic. And we have a strawberry daiquiri. So these are, they are sold in a variety pack. These are our newest calcium chews that we have. I have already tried them. My favorite is the lemon drop, honestly. And then we also have we have our original calcium chews that also include probiotics too. So whether it's our new or old flavors, all of our calcium chews have probiotics in them. Lastly, we have our probiotic. And I don't have that with me. I was going to say I have the prenatal. Perfect. Okay, so the probiotic, this is really nice because we took the once daily formula and we just added probiotics to it. So probiotics, there's all kinds of great benefits to having added probiotics to your diet. Actually, studies have shown that having a healthy gut actually can help with weight loss. So I do want to say that if you try our probiotic or if you try any of these, you can ask for free samples on our website. And Brenda, are you going to share that link? Or
yeah, I was just getting ready to.
Perfect.
And also I want to say something else too, Brittany, with the so one of the biggest reasons that I know, like before I worked for ProCare, I worked in a surgical clinic, as I mentioned before, as a coordinator. And I'd say about half of our patients took this version of our multivitamin. And the reason being is a lot of times after bariatric surgery, people will have problems with gut health, meaning constipation and bloating, like feeling kind of bloated. I'm not saying everybody struggles with that, but it's common. And so putting a prebiotic or probiotic, both, into your diet can help with those things. And then when you're feeling less bloated, whenever you feel like you're able to be more regular, you actually, it makes you feel better, you know.
It really does.
Like health-wise, you know. So I'm gonna put the link here for while Brittany's talking. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
I just had to
okay.
say that. Like, it is like life-changing for some people, like adding probiotics
I do want to say
their regimen
really quickly that our probiotics, someone did mention in the chat that they said that they love our once daily. We love our once daily too, but I just want to make sure that you guys know that our probiotic and our prenatal formula specifically are actually 2 capsules a day. So I'll take it out and show you guys.
Hey, Brittany, I'm going to interrupt you. It's cutting up.
Oh, it is?
Hey, Brittany.
Yeah.
I think we lost you. It kind of cut up. I don't know if they got to hear all that.
Can you hear me now?
No, not very good. Do you want me to say what you're saying? I think.
Yeah, that's
Maybe. I
fine.
feel bad. I'm sorry.
No, it's
I
okay.
can hear you, but it's just cutting up. Now I can hear you, but I just can't see you.
So this is about how big they are, but it's 2 capsules a day. That was the point I was trying to get across.
So let's see. I'm not sure why everybody's freezing up. I wonder, technical wise. I hope you guys. She said I can hear her fine. I can hear her. I see you all fine. Okay. Well, Brittany, they said that they're hearing and seeing you. So
Oh, okay.
maybe it's just my screen.
Well, I'm going to intercept in here for a second because during my journey, I started with ProCare Now vitamins. I started with the chewable multivitamin. I'm now taking the swallowing, the capsule multivitamin. Even 3 years out, I still take them. I love the one a day. And in the fall, if you haven't been part of the ProCare Now family, in the fall, they have these mini little chocolate bars that is your calcium. And for me, it's a treat. It was like, I got my chocolate. And so because I'm such a sweet person, I have my chocolate. So now I buy, in the fall, I buy a year's worth so that I have one every day. And then I've tried the cinnamon roll ones. I've not tried the mocktail ones, but I'm looking forward to doing that. And I love the cinnamon roll ones, and I love the caramel ones. It's like eating a real caramel. So, and the other thing is they have these, come on, Enid, anytime. And if they have these, if you are low on your protein, they have these little packets of quick protein cells that you can just grab one, take it in real quick, and you've got your protein for that time, for that hour or whatever. So definitely check out ProCare Now. I love all of their products, and I have used them for the last 3 years. So I will give a plug for them.
Oh, thank you for sharing. It looks like Edith said the same, and Rhonda said she's 4 years out. She still takes them, and Gabby says they help me with my pregnancy too. Yeah, we have a prenatal formula too, which I'll show. Oh, I don't
Yep,
have
it's
that
right here.
Do you, Brittany? Wonderful.
Yep. So I kind of go back and forth. I like the new multi-chews.
I have to say, Gabby took them, and she was not pregnant. I mean, she was not. She's not a bariatric patient, but
Yeah, you can.
I introduced them to her, and she used them throughout her pregnancy.
So I go back and forth. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But most of the times I stick with these, and I just do one a day since I have not had weight loss surgery. And then these I do one a day as well.
So that's good to, like, if somebody's pre-op, like they're getting ready for surgery and wanting to start taking vitamins, those are good options too. Or,
Yes.
like, family-wise, I have to laugh because, like, my son, we just got the multivitamin, the soft chews in, and he loves the flavor so much. He's like, I just want to try. He always wants to eat them, and I'm like, you're only supposed to take one. It's kind of funny, because they actually do taste pretty good.
They taste amazing, yeah.
But I think Enid says not for anything but other than the one a day where we're making me sick, but ProCare Health ones don't. Well, that's good to know because
That's awesome, yeah.
you don't want to have to be sick when you're taking your vitamins.
No,
for sure.
especially when you're recovering
Oh.
from surgery too. No.
Has anybody had that happen? Have you had that happen, Scotty? I have with other brands, and it's not a good feeling.
Yeah, with other brands, I tried a couple other brands at one point in time, and I just felt nauseous, and I ended up giving the whole bottle away to somebody else, and ordered my ProCare Now ones because they sat well in my stomach. So
Yeah, and everybody's different. If you try
Everybody's different,
something
yeah.
and it doesn't work for you, try something else because there's lots of options out there, for sure,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Well, well, I think we're about ready to close her down for today. We want to thank Scotty for being with us. Brittany and I love you.
We do. Mwah.
Yes, yes, and
Even though
Rhonda
she
says the
can't hear
chocolate-
me. It's the best.
ooh, Reese's.
Looks like Rhonda said the chocolate calcium is the best, but put some peanut butter on it. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite ways to eat it too. And that'll be back in the fall, just as Scotty said. So, well, guys, we're gonna say goodbye for now. Thank you all for joining us. And Scotty, I'm gonna follow up with you in a little bit with the email. And thank you guys. You guys all take care. Enjoy your day, and go out there and do what you need to do to get that mind in the right place to do those things that you need to do. Right?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Bye bye.